Today we're taking a look at a very powerful S tier build. This is my Paladin build. This build is going to be crushing everything that gets in your way. Early game, mid game, and even end game when you're fighting against level 30 enemies. Nothing that gets in front of you is gonna stand a chance. And as you are seeing here in the video, you are seeing the different type of combination that this Paladin is very OP against. Of course, just like in any fight, you have all the different tools that I'm going to provide you to be able to be crushing it in the field. Now, what do we got to do to make this build very powerful? And first, we're going to be taking a look at the armor, which I believe is going to be the best armor for any melee build. For those that are saying in the comments, and I've read them, you know what, melee sucks in Enshrouded. It does not, guys. It's a lot of fun. You just got to know how to fight, right? Now, this armor goes in so perfectly for our Paladin build. We got the Radiant Paladin helmet, as you are seeing, the highest physical resistance on both magical and resistant. Is going to give us a plus 15 melee critical strike chance, and we're going to be taking advantage of that, and you'll see that in the skill tree how we're going to be able to just triple our power by just doing that. Next, we have the upper body. This one provides us with a 113 physical and magical 56 resistant, but it does give us a 240 health, which is going to push us to the max because we are going to be getting really close sometimes to enemies. So we make sure we are going to be high on health, and then 24 plus for stamina. And then we're going to be taking a look at the gloves, and these are some amazing gloves because it's going to give us a +2 damage against melee foes, 28 and 14 resistance. And then we have the best probably trousers that you can use in the game, and those are going to be for the eagle eye trouser, because both physical and magical resistance at 50, it doesn't get better than this at this moment. A level 25 armor plus 18 stamina and +1 sprint. It's gonna give us that little extra edge when we gotta just run around and we are being mobbed by different modes at the same time, as you are seeing here, especially here in the Sun Temple, which is the best location where you can grab this entire armor. I also have a link in my description that is going to show you all the different chests and the best run that is going to help you to get all these legendary weapons, armors that I'm going to be showcasing here. Now, what weapons are we going to be using? The following weapons we have at our disposal. First of all, I have two swords. One is going to be the Sword of Radiance, and the other one is the Enflamed Sword. I always carry two of everything, as you are seeing. The same thing for the one. I have a Frozen Core, and I also have one that is fire, and I'll let you know why. Now, swords. I have this one that has the cutting, piercing, and blunt, which gives me, as you are seeing here, increases my critical chance by 5 different times. So it's going to be a very OP weapon, especially the more you hit, the more you're going to be dealing a lot more extra damage. And then we have this one that's very special because it does apply some fire, and it has a little bit higher piercing, but it does have a precise increased critical hit chance by 5%, and also increases mana regeneration by 1. And as you are able to see here in the fights, you'll be able to see the different combinations that I'm able to use in this build, different rings and things like that that make this very OP. And now next we have two different ones. The reason why is because one is going to be for against ice and the other one is for fire. It just depends who you're fighting. You always got to come prepared because there are some enemies that are very immune to fire. So you got to switch to the ice one, and there's you know, vice versa. So you got to have those two weapons. Now, different consumables that I have in my arsenal are going to be one, the greater health potion. This one is pretty much going to bring back my entire health, and that is why I want to max out my health, so I'm able to utilize this And then this is one of the secret sauce, which is going to be the Prayer of the Flame Scroll. This here can make you OP right away because it's going to give you that 20% additional magic damage. And as you are able to see there, for how long is crazy. So it's going to cost you 20 mana, but it's also going to raise your mana, which is really cool. And then on top of this, of course, always got to make sure you're drinking that water, just like in real life. If you don't drink water, you're gonna get thirsty, you're gonna get tired. Make sure that Paladin build is always up to stand. And then we of course have the Great Mana Potion. This is just to make sure that you're always getting that mana, and then you always have it up so you are able to use the following weapon, which is going to be none other that we're going to be taking a look at the Shepherd's Lightning. This is the best range weapon that you can get at this moment. Of course, level 25. But as you are seeing there, the whole entire damage that I'm using is just crazy. And I'm using 3 different types of spells, but one of them is going to be the Chain Lightning. I like this one, even though it's not the highest, but if you're able to get this to a higher, I believe 129, you're going to be very OP. Of course, in this build, I did not use the Broken Acid spell because that one just melts everything. It doesn't matter what level, if it's at level 69, level 39, it just melts. Very broken, but soon it will be changed. So you're going to have to make your build again. But this build here is for early, mid, and also end game when you're fighting against those 30 level enemies. And my favorite one to go to, it is the Fireball. The Fireball is just very OP. As you are seeing it, you're able to spam that thing. It doesn't take a lot of mana, and that is the great thing about it. You can spam that over and over and it'll get you out of trouble. Maximize it with the scroll. It just becomes very OP. Equip the best shield that you currently have in your inventory. I have this one, which is going to be the Shield of Light. It's a very powerful, rare shield because it does give you a 17 block, but it does give you a 90 parry power. And parrying in Enshrouded is one of the coolest things because if you have such like this, a very high shield that's going to give you that parrying power, and then it's going to be a lot easier to make sure you take down those foes when they get stunned. So it becomes a very easy. Of course, backpack, whatever you have. I'm using here the one and only Ghost Lighter Legendary. This thing is so OP, gets you out of trouble whenever you are in trouble. And then of course we have the Advanced Improved Grappling Hook, and then here is the different combinations that I want to provide to you in regards to the different rings. Now, if you're going to be focusing with your Paladin on just pure magic and a little bit of fighting, then I would recommend the following combination. If you are able to grab the Ring of Rapacity and equip it in both different slots, then your mana is going to just regenerate super fast. That is going to allow you to just spam it and spam it and spam it when you are at a point where you are very clear from enemies, and you can just spam this thing away, and it's just going to destroy anything very fast because you're going to have unlimited ammo. Now, if you like to get up close, I would probably recommend the Ring of Health. This one because it's going to give you the plus 20 health, which the different type of pieces on your armor helped you, but on top of this is going to help you with that regeneration that also this armor that you're looking at also has, which is going to help you. Now, let's take a look at our primary stats. As you are able to see there, Constitution, you got to make sure you have that health up. It's at 4. Spirit is at 6. Of course, my spirit and intelligence are up because I am a paladin. I want to make sure that my magic is up there so it gets me out of trouble. Endurance, it's at 5. Gotta always make sure you have enough endurance, strength, and also dexterity, because I want to make sure that my spells or my range long weapons are always triggering faster, and that is what dexterity helps me on. And of course, strength is just going to make you and increases any melee damage by 5% for any attributes. And then let's take a look at the different type of skills. Now, this is what is fun about Enshrouded. You can make your own build. You can make your own combination because you are free to go just about anywhere. Now, what I have focused here is on the following. As you're able to see, my most focus is on the top bottom right, which is going to be in the section of the wizard. I came here and I unlocked my spirit. This is the way because it gives me that increased 10 on magical weapons. I'm making my magical weapons very OP. We see that reduces the time the staff requires to charge up spells by 50%. With the rings that I'm able to get this back really fast, it just makes me very OP right away. We also have this skill that it does all fire damage is increased by an additional 10%. That is why you're able to see that the fire spell is my favorite, because I'm also going to be able to increase it by 20%, which is very crazy. And then we also have intelligence going up. We have the lightning, and we have the thunder, and we have the Iceman if you are using those. And then on top of this, we also unlock the wizard. When attacking with a magical weapon, your critical hit chance is increased by an additional 10%, giving us that extra boost, which is very important. Now, other things that I've done is, as you see, I focus a lot on my spirit, a lot on my intelligence. During the trickster skill tree, I also did the counter strike, which is very OP because after receiving, there is a 20% damage that's going to reflect to a 50% damage back to anyone, any attacker, as a fire damage. So that is why, if we take a look at my weapons here, with this weapon, it's going to hit a lot harder, even though those are 47 each for damage. This one's going to hit a lot more because of that triggerness that is going to make it very OP. And then I kept focusing on dexterity a little bit more. Of course, upgrade your glider if you haven't. And then make sure you always are increasing your endurance. As you're seeing here, and we also went up to our runner to get that increased 10%. Double jump is very important, and we also unlocked more endurance. And on top of this, we went up down here and we did a little bit more like strength, just to have that additional power for our melee weapons, making them very OP. Once again, more strength. And then this one here, the heavy-handed, an enemy stun bar is increased by an additional 20% when attacking into their block with a melee weapon. That is why you're seeing whenever I'm fighting, I was showcasing it to you, I was stunning my enemies really fast. And here I increase my strength, and also I increase my constitution, because you always got to make sure you have enough health. And then this one, it's very OP, the warrior's path, which is going to be when attacking with a melee weapon, all damage is increased by 10%. And we have the shiny plates, gives me another physical armor, gains a 10% more armor on my points. So it's going to make me very tanky. And this is in the tank skill tree. So as you're able to see there, once again, focusing on my intelligence, I'm focusing on my spirit, I'm focusing on my strength and dexterity, and on top of that, endurance. Overall, this is going to make you very OP right away. So you're able to see there, I am here in the best location. If we pull up the map, in the Sun Temple, where you are able to get all these weapons and all these armors that I'm showcasing in this build. The link is in the description. Just click on it and it'll show you all the different chests. There's, I believe, about 11 of them that you can come here and just loot them and get all this loot right away. Thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing to the channel for more Enshrouded builds coming your way, and we'll see you on the next one.